What up?
What
What up?
what up, brother? How are you? Welcome to the Rose Garden. Happy Thursday to you.
Hey, happy Thursday to you as well. Everything's 100. How are you?
All is well. I'm happy that the good Lord saw fit to wake me up this morning, and I'm hanging out with you in the garden.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you was being disobedient. I heard you when I logged into the studio. You was sneak dissing. Uh,
Hey, I didn't know if you was gonna make it. I was like our rogue co-host. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened? What happened when you on the set and you waiting for your fellow actress to come join you? You know, I was like, man, got to pull one from the crowd. You know, she gonna be the actress today.
Well,
Feel
welcome
me?
everybody. I'm Sarita. I'm one half of this sibling pair, and I'm joined by my very disobedient brother Xavier, who don't even give you a chance to log into the studio before you get your pink slip. We're here every week, providing ourselves our own individual joy, and hopefully we make reach out and make joy for you. And we do this in honor of our grandmother, who was just a delightful soul. And I came across her obituary recently. I was cleaning out one of my drawers, and
Hmm.
I came across it. And your poem, you wrote a poem to her. Do you remember that poem?
No, I don't remember. But
Yeah,
you know,
it
peace
was,
and blessings be unto her soul when she
yeah.
rests in peace.
But who knew you were a poet? See, this is the side of you that the universe needs to see, because you stay getting in trouble in the group chat. And a part of it is because they don't think that you have that your heart is hardened. But see, when you read the poem, we see that you actually have a tender spirit. I said
I mean,
he's
I'm a creative artist. You know what I mean? Shout out to our producer in the back. Hear me?
always he's disobedient too, because I heard him on a sneak disc too. He was sneak disc too. So you know what, y'all, people, when you surrounded by all these men, you got to carry a belt, just a strap with you, because their mouth gonna do their mouth is gonna do something. But the sweet lamb let me hear the sneak disc. As soon as I came in, I heard him say, "Well, let's pull up somebody else."
Well,
Let's
that's because we were playing around with a new technology. We think we can invite some viewers in to call in
Oh,
to,
that's
well,
exciting.
basically
All right,
it's
let's
quote
get
unquote call in, but this is a link in, I guess you would call it. You know what I mean?
what did we have to do for the people to get interactive? Tell the people.
So the producer was telling me that we can we can, it's something in the chat. It should be in the public chat right there.
So if
Yeah,
it's
it's
in
a
the
link
public
up in
chat,
there.
link on it, but isn't there any special instructions? I thought we had to do it through.
Oh yeah, you gotta be on Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. But if they join in, producer gonna let us know, and then we can let somebody chime in. You know what I
Oh, that's
mean?
awesome. So
Hopefully they add a secondary voice to reason and logic that I bring to the table.
well, you know what I hope? I hope that that our friends in the group chat, especially the female friends in the group chat, are able to log in. I don't know how they listen. I do think they listen through mostly Facebook or YouTube. But if they listen and they're able to click, will the link be on both of those
Yeah,
platforms?
I put it on the Facebook one as well.
Okay,
I think it should be in the story and the post. So
okay.
hopefully we gonna try out something new, see if it'll work,
Yeah, because
see
don't
what'll
forget
happen.
YouTube and see what happens. Because I really want the group chat to give you real time support. Um, you know, because again, I think it's interesting that they even care about your male perspective, and they continue to come to the water to drink. So I'm gonna, I want them to feel nourished. Now I've been traveling this week, so I have not been in the group chat um, much, because I've been quite busy. But one of the things that I will say is they were I was telling on you in the group chat about how soon as the show ends, you hang up on me. You don't want any of my feedback. After what happens, you just disappear. And I find that to be not kind and not of the fruit of the spirit. So what is that?
Those
Maybe
last times I did that, that was a mistake. You know what I mean? I clicked the wrong button. I was out of there. But when I came back, you, the producer, had zoomed off. You know
right.
what I mean?
felt
I
abandoned.
always
We
say it
had some
though.
questions. That mug was like, we were like, damn, he did it twice, 2 weekends in a row. He was so cold. That mug skated out. He didn't want to talk to us no more or nothing. What happened? Right. Because at the end is we find that you do so much better at the end. You really do so much better at the end. It's when you get to the greatest level of self-discovery. And we hit on something last week that I think opened everybody up in the group chat where we were talking about, men also have this intimacy and openness problem. But we're not going to redo that. I want to skip a little bit to what happened in the group chat too, because one of the things is when society is changing, they talk about how they're looking through their village to get support. And no matter if
Hmm.
you're dating a person or um you know in deep friendship with the male, there's definitely a part of that male relationship that they need to get through these challenging times. And I bring that up because, we're going into the July 4th holiday, and it's not
Hmm.
feeling comfortable for a lot of people. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
and one of the things they were talking about is like it's very different getting support from your girlfriends than getting support from your male friends, whether they're, romantic partners or male friends. And it's interesting because you never talk about how you go get support from your female friends. But I know you have female
Well,
friends.
let me guess though. I think like when to me in my viewpoint, when men are talking, when they're giving support to each other,
Hmm.
they actually are inside of that that frequency together with one another. I
Okay.
don't think women do that with one another, truth be
Well,
told.
I would argue you should pose this as a question because, see, and
Hmm.
again, if this is going to
Yeah,
be
let's ask. Let's
so,
ask. But in
we can
my
pose it as a question.
observation, I don't see it.
Well, but the problem is, and many people believe this now that they've met you through the group chat and through your show, that they don't think you really have a lot of female friends. And I said, no, he talks a lot to women. And I mean, I'm a female mom, your sister. We talk a lot, and I get nourished by a lot of the things that we say. So I don't want you to stay getting in trouble. I want them to really see the softer side of you. But I will say you have not sat side by side in a feed. Like even when we were growing up, I think you did not like hearing banter among women. Would that be true? Like you didn't like seeing the
I
banter.
don't know. I mean, I never really had no introspection on sitting with around and listening to women banter. You know what I mean? But I would say that in my observation of women being, having the issue, right? Like let's for example, if a man is doing something that is immoral, you know what I mean? So he do something that's immoral, and he
Hmm.
got brethren that care about him.
Hmm.
In private with each other, they gonna tell you the truth about it. You know what I mean? Like let's just say
hundred
right now,
percent
you
of the
gotta
time,
you
because
see have y'all seen that movie, the one with Denzel was the baseball player, but he had a damn what was it called? Fields or something? I can't remember.
where he
But
brought
he
home the baby to the.
yes, that one.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And he had a homeboy that was helping him fix the fence, and the homeboy was telling him like, yo, you got a good woman, and I don't want you to see her break her heart. And what are you doing out here running around in the streets and shit? Remember that?
Yeah,
And
but
he was but see his homeboy checked him because he was
I
like,
can
what are
remember
you
that.
doing? He was like, I'm telling you, he's like, if I was out messing around on Lucille, I'm telling you what I would expect you to do. Now, in the flip side of this, when a woman is inside of a situation, they like, oh yeah, girl, he's pushing you in another man's arms. You should just go ahead and do
But
this.
are you saying
Y'all
this?
don't give each other, like, even though like most of the time the women who are giving this poor, terrible advice, they're sad, lonely, depressed, and all that stuff. And they've been through it already. Yeah,
Well,
they
let's
don't
just
have
say
no
this.
man. And then you know
I,
what?
I, will- I,
They
I
will never say, you know what, sister, you got a good man.
That's not
and
true.
and it
So
and it's rough out here in the field.
let
So
me
you
let me
should
help
stay with
you.
that man and help and not try to just be running off and stuff. Women do not do that.
Let me help your poor misogynistic brain. And this really goes to the fact that you don't sit and listen to women. I'm going to go back further because somebody asked me, what was he like in childhood? And what I would say, in childhood, you were an observer, but you also preferred being alone. So this, how you have developed this kind of schema around what women do, because women are not a monolith. There's not one group of women, and we don't find each other and act and behave one way. We certainly go to each other for comfort in different ways. And you're going to have, just like men have all kinds of scoundrel friends, we have scoundrel friends too.
100,
Say
definitely.
people that are the closest to and share our closest selves with, we have that same level of mirroring. And that's what I would call that, where someone shows to you the reflection of what they see. You're out here, harming this wonderful man, that will one day come back to you. I think that people do have mirror, but the benefit of being human, or maybe our downfall, is we all have choice. And so, we can talk till we're blue in the face. It does not mean that somebody is going to make the choice for themselves that we would suggest or make for ourselves.
No, that's true. That is very true what you said there, just in general for human beings, across the board. But
Hmm.
what I'm saying is, like even like right now, if I call my homeboys and I say, "Hey, I'm going through something," and I'm open up, I'll be vulnerable about what I'm going through. It's like we all sitting in the classroom together. You know what I mean? Paying
But we need
attention
to
to the
get to that
instructor on
point.
the board.
I think
So
what you need to help your friends understand is, you are saying this as somebody who has gone through the gauntlet of pain and struggle. Like you have, like, Ayanla wrote a book and it's like, you got to go through the basement first and then you got to go to step one. And step, like, so you've been in the basement, which is,
right, right.
for this analogy, like, you've been in your darkest days. I would say if you had went to any of your people during some of the decisions that you were making during those dark times, would you have had the same level of support you have now?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Sometimes
but
you
you
were
know
in
why?
the,
You know
right,
why?
you
You
were
know
in
why I
those
say
dark
that?
days with your
Cause,
friends.
cause
Some
I
of those
no,
same
no,
people were
no.
standing
That's so
around with you.
wrong. That's so wrong. Exactly. Cause I
What
was
happened?
telling.
Say it again.
So the yeah. So
And
the
some of
producer
those
said it
friends were
depends on.
there making
So
decisions. Be
since nobody
honest
can
and
hear
slay
the
the devil.
producer, we gotta say what he said. He
Okay.
said that some of the say that one more time so I can repeat it. He said it. Okay, so he said it depends on what friends are around when you're going through these dark times. And
Exactly.
so what I found in my early years when I was going through things is that I ain't really have no friends, to be real. Because when I was going through those things, I was going through it by myself, to be real with you. And then not for nothing, once I find myself out of the basement using your thing, when I find my way out, then I'm reconnecting with people that are associates, I'm associated with, but they
Hmm.
ain't inside of the, because a real friend actually feel what you going through.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like as if it's happening to them as well. And they inside of that thing with you. And that's why like a real friend could talk you off the ledge of doing something that ain't reasonable for you. Like, like I would say, like somebody that's a real friend. Even our producer got a good friend. It's Officer Tibbs, let's say, right? And he told us something about a situation he went through in his youth. And he
Hmm.
said uh he was upset, I think, with his father or stepfather, one of the two. And he had went to his homeboy to get some firepower to go deal with deal with that situation. His
A
homeboy
very
wouldn't
bad
do it.
decision.
Well, since it was a bad decision, his homeboy wouldn't do it. He said, "Hell no, I ain't doing that." You
Right.
know, and he
Right.
said that was a real friend, and I agree with that because a real friend would do stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I've seen that time and time again. When somebody really do care about you, they ain't gonna like just let you jump off that ledge like that.
So
The
what do
people,
you think is, when you looking at this? I agree. And I think you've made a great connection for people, that who you're in relationship matters, but also how you're labeling them in the hierarchy of importance and what you're doing. but then help other people understand. Because I think, it's easy to say that now in our middle age, right? But I was your sister, so I watched you, and I would say when you were younger, you would have called those very people that you now label as associates as your friends, and you were doing some of those same things side by side with them. So how would you help somebody who, like, if you could look backwards and talk to that person who, their 17, 16-year-old selves, and say some of the things that your friends, or what you think are you're doing in friendship, is not friends. And I'm going to give a good
Well,
example, because there's
go
a
ahead.
young man
Mm-hmm.
who, this is a real story actually. he was
Mm-hmm.
he was hanging with his cousin,
Mm-hmm.
and him and his cousins were breaking into homes, and they
Mm-hmm.
were stealing PlayStations. So it was his
Mm-hmm.
cousin and the cousin's friend. And
Mm-hmm.
so the one cousin was just the lookout,
Mm-hmm.
just out there, and they honestly were breaking into homes that were, the doors were open. So somehow they were just going to check locks, and whoever house they would go to, the doors were open. And
Mm-hmm.
in this one house, the lookout, the cousin, a police officer just happened to roll up on the scene, right? And while his cousin and the cousin's homeboy are in this other house. So so the block got hot really quick.
No
So
doubt.
in this 14, 15-year-old mind, you know, he calls he texts the cousin, like, y'all gotta get out of there. The police came. So the police officer comes over, talks to the young man who's the lookout. Long story short, he starts to run from her, and she chases him. And the cousin finally comes out of the house and jumps in the police car and drives the car and runs over the police officer.
Damn.
Yeah. And so she met her demise,
Oh
and
man.
all three of them got charged with murder. And then I recently saw the case where they all got convicted, and and they were like 16 or 17 at the time, and they were really, really young. um
But see that's were they melanated?
mhm, yeah.
They so that's melanated law right there, because because if it was any other group of people, it would have probably been only the dude that ran them one over. You know what I mean? But I think that the thing is, the person I hung out the most when I was younger was Harleen. And every time I ever got into a situation, Harleen was never with
It's
me.
not bad.
So I always did my dirt on my own. And so much so, one time I was in a situation, his mom came to see me and thanked me for that.
Mhm.
That I didn't bring him down with me when I was going down.
But
So I
what would
feel
you
like
say to those young, like, I would argue.
the group think gang life shit is the most dumbest thing a dude could ever do, because the thing that makes a man is that you can think for yourself and you
Mhm,
can stand on your own square.
mhm,
But I mean, there's definitely a quality that comes along with having people to support you, right?
yeah.
And being part like of a group and all this stuff. But I don't think like it's just blind following and doing dumb shit like that.
I would agree. I also
Yeah,
think that there is something to be said about the underdeveloped brain,
yeah,
because
that's true.
I can totally see, like, not with my mind now, right?
Mhm,
But with the
mhm,
individual's mind then. You see somebody
mhm,
chasing your loved one, right?
mhm, mhm,
The quickest way to make that stop, is to maybe get in a car and to knock them over. I'm not saying that makes any kind of logical sense, but I can see from like a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old, I forget, they were very young or youngish perspective. I could see how, like, I just want this to stop. What's a way to do it? It's not logical. I'm going to do it this way. And I think there's value in having more experience, which is, you know, and I'm bringing this up because I can understand it, but I also am a person who's now having to deal with all these young kids who don't have anywhere to go. and they're making these stupid decisions, and they're even creating a change in the environment that I go through. So let's do AFRAM. Went to AFRAM. It was a wonderful experience. Music was great, blah. But those little kids, those same children, made it very unenjoyable. I mean, fights every
Mm-hmm.
15 seconds, so much so that the police were just going to them and just spraying pepper spray, like saying, "Oh, let's break up the bears," like they were just like these wild kind of kids. And so finally the mayor comes out and was like, 17 or under, you cannot be out here with any adults, after like
Mm.
4 o'clock, because it
Mm-hmm.
just is such a uncomfortable environment. So while I can champion, like, we need to do something to in considering how our laws are applied to these young people whose brains are
Mm-hmm.
not fully developed. And I can understand from this irrational,
Mm-hmm.
rational perspective how somebody's going to jump in a car and make that woman meet her demise, because really the goal was to get the cousin, to help the cousin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also think that there needs to be something to do to support their development, and to make them not feel like all they got to do is fight, all they got to do is humbug. And one of
Mm-hmm.
the biggest things I noticed
Mm-hmm.
was the amount of drug use that was out there. I mean, there were like kids that looked like babies smoking
Mm-hmm.
blunts bigger than my head. Now, I know weed is legal, but it's certainly not legal for teenagers. But everybody is,
No, I mean you said a lot in that
it's,
and
it's
that I agree with. I think that you're right. Number one thing is that like it's a thing of self-worth and value, right? So you got to know, like, your purpose and meaning in life is just more than like you say, being riffraff, right?
mhm,
You know,
mhm.
but also, this Wes was telling me about, what's going on in South Africa right now, which is, I
Mm,
think, is interesting, where they trying to so-called get all of the foreigners out, right?
mhm.
But the funny thing is that the foreigners that they talking about is other melanated people
Yeah,
from other countries in the
migrants.
continent of Africa.
Yeah,
But when it come down to running down on like Cape Town, where the Afrikaans are, which is basically the Caucasian people,
yeah.
they ain't doing that. They ain't terrorizing them. But you know why they ain't terrorizing them? Because those people, they are armed,
Hmm.
and that when this sea of assailants is running down on them, only a few of the armed ones come out and pop some rounds off, and the sea of people disband. Whereas they go into
Also,
the melanated communities and
and not well,
causing
I
super
think they're armed
terror.
too. I think they're armed too. I think the other
Nah,
difference is
they ain't armed like the way that
not in the
the
same way, but
Africa.
I
Yeah.
think the other difference is those same people have been indoctrinated into a system that says that these people are not, they're different than you, and
Right.
they're the
Right.
problem,
Hmm.
versus the structure that has created that problem. And it's
But see
very
that
simple.
but
And
there's those
it's
little
happening here. We
divisions
don't got to
though.
go that far away, because there's
Yeah.
some people who's laying the same. Like, there was somebody who was standing outside the BET award that says Black parents have failed their children, you know, and saying
That's
that
crazy.
Black parents, there are no fathers, Black fathers in the home. Black mothers are out here whoring themselves and having. So there are people who are saying that, and then you will walk up on other Black people who say, all y'all need to do is stop having being a baby mama and baby daddy, when baby mamas and baby daddies are in every racial,
Every culture. Yeah, yeah.
every culture.
Now, I
It
mean,
ain't
all those things, the problems that these like problems are not that simple. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like I think that, but in general though, there are some things that are, that are interesting that happens, just like the division between people that are in a similar situation. So let's just say, if we a black community in America and we are enduring the same things, then we shouldn't terrorize each other.
Mhm.
But we would do that because we know I can get away with doing this to a nigga. You know what I mean?
But
But
how
I
do we
can't do
invite
that.
each
I
other
can't
in?
do that to I can't do that to a white person though, because
But how many?
they gonna give me a whole
Let's
gang of
break it even
time.
down easier. How do
Mm-hmm.
neighborhoods
Mm-hmm.
even, like, we could truly do that on our own, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I feel like we're looking for this like big master to fly down and say, y'all need to get neighborhood to neighborhood together. But that's
Mm-hmm.
something that we could do. neighborhoods separate themselves because they want to. They want to
Mm-hmm.
say, this is my little piece of property and this is what I own. And anybody that crosses over this line doesn't belong there. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
saying community is much bigger than the blocks that we live and
Mm-hmm.
being together. But again, I think, what is it that we can do? Because I think that's where it starts. This one little nugget. Like, how many times has 612 invited 124 over for a cookout?
Yeah, I thought you won from 612. I'm playing with
I'm
you.
not from 6.
Yeah, you are. If you know about 124 612,
I
then
just
you
know the
then you
number.
know. But I think that it's funny though. Like maybe not back then, but now, it's a little different. That
What you notice? Because I don't notice that much of a difference. I'm talking
oh,
about visually on like the social medias, because I'm not from there and I don't go back there.
no, I mean you got a good point because I feel like those divisions they exist in any place where like blacks are predominant. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's just like
Or
let's just say,
melanated people, marginalized people, even in
yeah, marginalized people are
marginalized.
predominant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like say let's say if it's like in a prison system or whatever you want to call
Pueblos,
it.
you know,
Yeah, the
from
bureaus
there.
of prisons and all
Right.
that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
so what happens is like they instead of all the people being together, which you already know, like the people that's in there, they the ones that's running the place. It's like you separated by where you from. So to your point, you from 612, you were from 124, you from DC, you from Chicago, you from New York, you from Atlanta, whatever. Like you all just staying with who you from, where you from, and that's creating thinning out the majority then, because you
Mm,
ain't focusing on what really matters, which
mm.
is how the hell we get the out of here. You know what I mean? Like we should all 2,000 people in here. If it's only 20 guards keeping us in here, how the hell 20 people keeping 2,000 people inside someplace?
Well, maybe not
That
how do
shouldn't
we get
happen.
out? How do we create the environment so that it's as comfortable and as rewarding as possible, right? Because
Well, I
some
would say
people
get out
belong
because
there, right? There's
Chapo.
some.
There's some people that may belong there, but their spirit is so indomitable that they like no place could keep me like Chapo was or
But
whatever.
one of the things that was a beautiful thing about Chapo, not anything else that he did, was that he
Hmm.
created community. So
Hmm.
there
Hmm.
were very few people in certain communities that did not care about him. Now, that doesn't
Hmm.
mean his reach was, I mean, he was known as a very bloody but he
Hmm.
created community. And when you create community, the power is to the people. And I think
Hmm.
Black people, in
Hmm.
by and large, while we all kind
Hmm.
of like being Black, like I don't want to be born anything else. I don't want to be like, when I look around and I'm getting the opportunity to travel every week, I be thanking God sometimes that I'm Black. I have like
I'm
this
with you. I
let me
agree
tell
with.
you what happened on the plane. So the
Yeah.
plane was late. They got us on and they had to deplane us because they needed to get a part. And
Hmm.
this lady totally lost her ever loving mind. And this Black guy I was sitting next to, real tall Black guy. He's like, oh, the non-melanated people are having such and I'm really enjoying it because it was like a breakdown so public of things that everybody was like, lady, you're just creating noise pollution for all of us. Like, we all got to
Hmm.
get off this plane. You're
Hmm.
holding it up because they now have to deal with you. And,
Hmm.
but it was actually like when I looked at it through this man's perspective, where he was like, they're having such a problem. Their lack of resilience is beautiful because that's exactly in this situation what he was saying. They were okay with happening to brown people when they knew what was going to happen in this
Hmm.
administration. They were
Hmm.
okay with people being harmed because it didn't touch them, but it touched the them that day. And uh, to the degree we had to get off the plane, we had to wait till the part came. We were delayed.
Hmm.
Everybody else sat down there eating their little whoppers, whatever they were eating, and waiting to the plane. And then that person, I don't know. Thank God that the sweet lamb made it so she was not back on the plane with me, because I would not. I was like, take her wherever she got to go and deal with her, and they did. So I say that because we do have a level of resilience, but are we doing community? And we don't do community well. but
No,
we
no,
can
100.
survive things well.
We do what things well.
We can survive things well.
Yeah, yeah, we survive and you right. We ain't doing community as a whole. Well, we used to 50s, 60s, 70s. That was the time when we was all woke, and we was doing it then, or our people was doing it then, rather. But then they made so much examples of those people that was organized and doing that they make it to where don't nobody else want to do it because they don't want to end up like them. You know what I mean? So I
But
say all
maybe
that to say
that's
to
something
you,
we need to do because at the end of the day, the truth
yeah,
is we're all gonna die, right?
no
And so
doubt.
what you're telling me is they made an example by killing them and making them,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
we're all gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
It's very true. Some people are gonna die from cancer, some people are gonna. So I do think that we get to do it on our own terms then, because this level of apathy.
Mm-hmm.
So we just had an election. We just
Mm-hmm.
had elections. Primary elections were throughout our state. In my county, only 12% of the eligible Black voters voted. I mean, now, these are people who have taken the time to register to vote. you know,
Mm-hmm.
12%. So, like, if I gave you $100, these people just were fine with getting $12. Is what it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like. When you had
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to get $100 if you went up there, to get it. And so, to me, there's an apathy because, like, what else has to be happening? The
Mm-hmm.
jobs rate came out. The report came out. People are losing their jobs and their livelihoods at exacerbating rates. And who do you think is hitting the hardest? It's
Mm-hmm.
hitting Black and brown folks really, really hard. Foreclosures, repo.
It's hitting the white people too though. That's why I say like,
But again, our
it's
numbers
funny.
are different. Our numbers are different. So when you are
Yeah, they different. Mm-hmm.
13% of people, and then half of those people are getting knocked off, that 13% is a much smaller number when you're like 60% and 20% of you are getting,
But see,
you
this is the thing. This is why I feel like it's like all the trick of the mind, and it's focus. If it focuses it shines the spotlight on some of the wrong things sometimes, right? Because I would listen to, you know, white people origin, you know, and it ain't no better than ours.
know.
You know what I mean? But they kind of like try to uh reduce our origin only to being descendants of slaves,
Hmm.
which in this trick it kind of automatically sets the tone of inferiority and superiority, where you're like, well, if you a slave, then you definitely coming from a lower guard, you know. But I
Hmm.
think it's all bullshit, right?
Hmm.
Because there was, our grandmother told us it was this time when, she tried to get a job and they wasn't trying to hire people that wasn't lighter than the paper bag.
Hmm.
You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And I was thinking that, you know, as long as people can try to focus in on colorism and stuff and racism to make it be a difference, on those type of lines and nothing else being different. Like we both have very horrible upbringings, you know what I mean? Have dysfunctional families and all that, but because you white, you better or
Yeah.
whatever. That's super ridiculous to
Hmm.
even think about. Because I think it all does come down to the individual human being, when it's all said and done, and like what decisions and choices that they make, how they deal with, the circumstances and conditions that they come from,
Yeah.
and all that, and what they allow to be imposed on them. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it's like these things is what really matter. And I
Well,
feel like, but as a
let's
whole, though,
agree.
you're right.
Let's agree to make our own community because my
I'm with
family
it.
and I have really been struggling
Hmm.
with how do we make an impact. And
Hmm.
I think it just
Hmm.
really starts in your own little square, right? Like
Hmm.
I want to
Hmm.
make, I want to be a public impact, and I want to, but
Hmm.
even the small things. And I think about what the Black Panthers did, that
Hmm.
was feeding
Hmm.
one community at a time, and then that just
Hmm.
spread,
Hmm.
right? And so
Hmm.
I think we can start with that level of vision. And it
Absolutely.
is upsetting to me. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know where this apathy comes from. And I think I do, because again, we're living in this digital age and you're hearing how people say, well, elections can be bought and blah, blah, blah. The bottom line is only 12% in my county of the people who took the time to register to vote voted. So even if all of that was true, you decided on your own to sit out, whatever that 80 something percent, or so y'all decided to sit out. And so then you're allowing that 12% to make decisions that we all have to live with for the rest of our lives. So if you
That's
don't
so
feel like you
true.
have any power, come up to the food line and bring your own dish. Don't wait for the entire community to feed you. Why don't you
Mhm,
bring a dish? And ain't nobody asking you to be able to cook the best, right? Maybe you just
mhm,
gonna cook some oatmeal. But you
mhm,
bring your oatmeal and I'm gonna bring my eggs and I'm gonna be and if we're gonna be willing to feed 100, everybody has to be there. And that's what it's like. And to
mhm,
the one thing we can do, literally the
mhm,
one thing you can do if you've taken the time to even register, is to then show up to do the job, right?
mhm,
It's,
mhm,
we're gonna have another opportunity, and now y'all got to live with who the 12% decided are gonna represent us. So
mhm,
if you didn't like it, you don't even get to say a say now, because the 12% have decided who's gonna represent us. But since that's what you decided to do, now give yourself an opportunity to at least have your voice stand. Because to me, sitting out, then we're not going to get fed.
No,
And
I mean that's just a part of privilege of being a citizen of this nation. So I think
Mhm.
like in terms of executing your right to vote, whatever, you should definitely do that because a bunch of blood has been shed to allow
For a
certain
long
groups of
time,
people to do it. Yes, I think
right?
like for our community, definitely it should
Show
be a
up.
mandatory. But also, I think that in terms of these options, right? Like just having like this two-party system or whatever doesn't doesn't really help well because truth be told, like I've been out there to vote and
Hmm.
I seen that there's more than just the Democrats and Republicans, right?
Yes.
It's just the other ones don't get a whole bunch of publicity.
Hmm.
So, I'd like to see one day like a deep groundswell for because
Behind
it's
other.
basically, yeah, be behind some other candidate that ain't Republican and ain't Democrat or whatever, and they could still,
That
bring a
still
win
involves
home.
the
You know what I
people.
mean?
So
Yeah,
that
it
would
definitely
still
does.
involve
Or
moving
it's so
by
it
the people.
seems to involve the people because I'll be wondering that because I'm like, what if that candidate did happen, right?
Hmm.
Because right now, when you watch on the news when they're doing the presidential elections, they only got the red and blue, and they ain't got nothing else on there when it's coming
Right.
across. So you don't even know how
How it
many
is. Well,
votes another party got. You know?
right, that level of ignorance is on us though,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
it's not out of reach. We have
Hmm.
computers essentially in our hand, and our man, sir producer wrote, many people feel like their vote doesn't matter, so they don't bother
Hmm.
to vote.
That's right. That's truth.
And
Truth.
and I think my response to that is, then when you don't put yourself in there, they feel like the voting won't break change a broken system. But you just
Hmm.
do the math. Like, let's just look at this from a statistical perspective. If only
Hmm.
12% of the eligible people who decided to do the registering showed up to vote,
Hmm.
we won't know what the other 80 or so percent would have done if
Hmm.
they had have showed up, because they sat out. So if that,
Hmm.
let's test this theory then, because we clearly have an opportunity to change things. We had a black
Hmm.
president 2 times, and
Hmm.
that was because the numbers allowed that to happen. So if we
Hmm.
continue to believe sitting out is the way to resolve a broken system, I would argue again, then don't bring your plate to eat once there's food at the line. Because that's
Hmm.
exactly what that's like. You're saying,
Hmm.
I don't know how to cook, but I'm
Hmm.
still going to be hungry. So I'm going to bring my plate, my children, and y'all got to feed me, the people who can cook. When I say
Hmm.
you can cook whatever, I don't care if you cut up watermelon. I don't care. You can bring something. And that's what the voting is. It is the bringing something. And if you really want that change, it's showing up on the local level. It's understanding what questions are on the ballot and how people are making moves and things for your, instead of being acted upon, you act with. And that is so frustrating to me.
Hmm.
because you can't put this on the back of 12%. You really can't. And
I
that's
feel
what's
that.
happening is it's on the back of so few. And those
Mm-hmm.
people are taking a beating, to
Mm-hmm.
your point.
Mm-hmm.
Those people who are brave enough to stand up to these systems. I mean, I read something recently about a young man who did a satire magazine that talked about the corruption and fascism within the Trump candidacy at the time and
Mm-hmm.
now
Mm-hmm.
presidency. And he got sentenced to 30 years because they charged him with some kind of rioting because he was moving his satire magazines and during some kind of
Damn.
and so he got sentenced to 30 years
So,
in
but
prison.
see, when that happens, nobody else wants to do nothing like that. You
but
know.
but we should all, like, this is
Mm.
again, we should all in a system of democracy feel and want to take action for this young brother, right?
I
We
agree,
should not want
definitely.
to sit there and decide that, and we have power, whether that's everybody every day writing letters to the governor talking about how ridiculous this is. We have power, we have things that we can do, supporting his legal teams, like we have. And like I'm saying, support could be $5. Like, one of the things I remembered about Obama's candidacy was he wasn't asking the people, because he really was grassroots, for hundreds of dollars and give me,
Mm.
where's your $50,000 donation, where your hundred
Right,
thousand.
right, right, right,
That
right.
it was like, I just need $5 today from everybody in the block, and your 30 homes, send your $5. And if you can get your neighbor to send $5, and that $5 adds up. And that's exactly how people were getting involved, because you got $5 because we were eating $5 worth of McDonald's at the time. And so that is again the kind of same scenario we're being asked to do, is be involved and be engaged in a way that it doesn't have to be big. Like right
Mm-hmm.
now, it does not have to
Mm-hmm.
be big. When you see some of these young kids out there smoking blunts, and it's hard because I was there too, like looking at them and wanting to judge them, but giving them an opportunity to like talk to them and say, like, what is making you at 12 and 13 smoke blunts bigger than your head, and now you all, like, you could see how like inebriated they were.
To fit in with the community of what other people are doing.
Or to hide. I think some of them are in deep pain, right? Like, if you,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to hear their story because they annoyed me so badly. But if I had have done what I'm asking myself to do and heard from them, I think it's so meaningful to actually listen to people and for them to be valued and heard, especially children. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I see how much kids just want to be seen. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they don't need much sometimes, but they just want to
Mm-hmm.
be seen and they want to come and be able to download. And I
Mm-hmm.
understand I was a busy parent, so I'm not judging any parents.
Mm-hmm.
But it is important to sit with and to listen and to be reasonable. Like, we were 12 and 13 and it was hard. And I think we're missing that. I also think that we don't give real guidance, because a lot of parents are permissive. Where do you think they're getting some of the marijuana from? I've heard some of these kids tell me this is from the dispensaries. Well, those little 12-year-olds can't get into the dispensary. So if
Mm-hmm.
they're getting stuff from the dispensary, that's some adult that is saying that, they can do it. So I think we have an obligation to actually be the adults in the community, to not fail our children and be friends. We can be friendly, but we need to be parents. And I also think, and that's the one thing I loved about my grandmother, is she was a parent.
Mm-hmm.
She was a parent. Now, friendly, that's questionable. I, that's questionable. She was a parent. As a matter of fact, there is not one thing she did not really know about us. So before we go, I have a quiz for
Let's
you.
shoot. Let's go. Let's run it. Let's run it.
About, so we polled the children in the family, and we've done this before, but this is a little different because I actually got insight from all the kids except Amir, because I forgot to reach out to him. But so you're gonna have to name which one of the people, which one of your uh, either nieces, nephew, or children had this interest. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you understand what the game is? So
Yeah,
I
yeah, I get it. I
I
get it.
told them, and you have to name which one of the people had this interest. All right, let me get to the list.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna give you an easy one.
All right, tell me.
When I was young, I loved multicolored shoes.
I don't know who had that interest. Maybe Jalen.
Are you really working hard? All
Hmm?
this. You gonna
I
say
don't know who
Jalen
had
had
multicolored shoes. I don't know who had that.
when I was young, I enjoyed multicolored shoes.
So now I don't know who had multicolored shoes. I don't remember no kid having multicolored shoes. Who was that?
Sanai.
Okay, Sanaya then.
You don't get a point for that. You don't get a point for that. Okay. When I was
Mhm.
young, I told my parents I want to get tutored by supermodels.
Jalen. I like that. I'm with him on that.
Who did you
That's a
get?
great experience. Jalen.
Your nephew. Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Um, when I was young, I was scared of the dark.
All of them.
You gonna say you gonna say everybody was scared of the dark, not one more
Yeah,
than the
yeah, I think all of them are scared of the dark.
other? Yeah. Somebody, our producer said somebody. So I'll use terrified of the dark. We wouldn't go places without the others.
I think all of them was like that.
Tasia.
Nah, I tell you what, that scared of the dark.
She was. She wouldn't go places without the other. All right.
Nah, I don't think that. I think that's cap. I think y'all done got that wrong.
You think everybody
Tasia wasn't scared of the dark, and she don't mind going to places without people.
when she was young. Now
Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about when she was young. She ain't mind. She was both of my children. They more like to do things by themselves more than with other people.
but not when they were young.
Yeah, when the only thing. Go ahead, keep going though. I ain't
When
want to
you
do
say
nothing else.
when I'm saying
Yeah,
young, I'm talking about children.
that's what I'm talking about. As a
Amir
little
was
girl.
stuck to his mom.
Nah, he just like to be with anybody that he can rub on their hair. You know what I mean? Maybe not you because your hair too a little short. But what I like about your hair is it's real. You know, you don't be fucking around with the fake stuff. But he just wanted to lay with somebody in the bed. Like he would lay in the bed and rub on my beard. You know what I mean?
He had sensory kind of things. That was the next one. When I was young, I
Mhm.
had sensory needs.
Hey, the way you asking it is very clinical. Nobody gonna know who got sensory needs. He needed to touch somebody's hair and he needed to lay with somebody.
Yeah, so you know who that
Mhm.
is. Who is that? Who had the
That's
sensory
my
needs?
son.
That's your son. He did. All
Mhm.
right. When I was young, I was easy to put to sleep. Easy to put to sleep.
Mhm. So I don't know who was easy to put to sleep. Definitely not my son was
Rashia.
it.
Rashia was
Rasheed,
easy.
Rasheed was easy to put to sleep.
Yeah, she was the angel baby. If I could have had a baby, like she was the blueprint.
Nah,
Uncle,
she was
where were
cool.
you?
She was cool, but I don't know about easy to put to sleep. I
She was
remember,
easy to put to
I think it was those common joints across in Germantown. I think I had a little spot over there,
sleep. Hmm.
and I was supposed to be watching she, and I was tired as hell,
Lord.
and I put her down to sleep, and I was sleeping on the couch, the TV, and my eyes open as the door was closing,
Oh
and she had ran outside the door. And I'm
my
like, oh man, I had to run down the stairs, grab her little tail. She was
terrible.
she
I'm
wasn't
so glad.
so
Did you ever
easy.
tell anybody?
Yeah, I told her mom at all of it. I was like, man, I had to beat her little butt because
What?
I was like, that was crazy. If I didn't wake up in that moment, I didn't know she had.
You would have been in trouble.
That would have been wild. I'm like, where this little girl go?
Oh my God. I'm so
Nobody
glad.
would have believed me. Nothing. That shit would have been
No,
terrible. You
you
know
would
what I
have
mean?
been, you would have been, see, and you know what? You were a bad babysitter.
I was not a bad babysitter. I
You were
woke
a
up in
bad
time.
babysitter. You are a bad babysitter. Nobody should ever give you their children. How do you do now? Will you fall asleep on the babies now?
I make sure I put the locks on the door. High locks.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well,
With the
our
chain and
time,
everything.
I can't wait to see what the group chat said. You always end on something terrible. The group chat gonna be talking about you and your baby daddy skills. They're like, is nobody want him to be a baby daddy? He can't even watch his niece.
No.
Well, thank you for this informative discussion. I always enjoy hanging out with you. I feel nourished because we still didn't decide, brother, together what we were gonna do though. What we gonna do? We feeding people.
Well, I mean, I'm with you. I think definitely get more involved with the community and stuff. I feel like we doing that right now and trying to collaborate with other entities that are, nonprofits that are active in the community. But we're trying to find some sustainable, goals and implement those objectives so that we can bring about good change. I think we, working towards that. You know,
All
I
right. Well,
wish we
we'll
had
keep.
somebody call in so we could test out the feature. Yeah, I
I
mean,
know.
the
This is
community
what
community pump faking the day. You know
they
what I mean?
can. They are. Well, you know what? We
Mm.
could post. Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
We had a
that's
good.
right.
It was a vanilla conversation. Well, I hadn't
Hmm.
been in I wasn't in the group chat, so I couldn't tear up. I couldn't pull all the themes. But I'll be in it next week.
No
But
doubt, no
yeah,
doubt.
because I don't travel. I've traveled the front end of the week. I don't travel at the back end of the week.
Mm.
So I'll be sure to pull some more better information out of the group chat. But sometimes we have to have serious conversations. Like I don't
No
think.
doubt. I totally agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Like it's so valuable, but I'm appreciative of everybody in the community that come and hang out with us. And this was an
Hmm.
important message because change is happening all around us. I feel the swell of like anxiety and
Hmm.
fear and
Hmm.
just listening to conversations. Like things are happening to us. A change is definitely happening in our environment. So we have to be coming together as community, and community is each and every one of us. Like we talk about
Hmm.
the issues that are black because we are black and brown, but communities are each and every one of us. And so that makes sense to me that we start inviting our community into discussion. What's the fix? And it can be just as
Hmm.
small as feeding each other, like I said, but don't
Yeah.
expect to come to the dinner table and you haven't brought a meal. Like I think that's
Hmm.
what is happening now is there's an entitlement around I don't need to bring a meal, but I can come to your
Hmm.
dinner table. And that's just
Hmm.
not necessarily true. We need all of you to bring your strengths, what you have. And even if you don't know what they are, showing up, we can help you. People can help.
Hmm.
We know how to use you, Uh,
Hmm.
so come and just show up and be a part of the community. So thank y'all for showing up today. And brother, always your wisdom is you are but a simple, wise, bald man.
I hear that. I appreciate that.
And I always enjoy our time. Look, and the producer was well behaved today too. I'm thankful. He don't got to get under punishment today. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm so happy that I ain't got to be mad at him today either. All right, good
Uh,
people. All right, we'll see you.